Hey guys! I am so excited because as you can see, I now have a microphone and I hope it does good. I'm trying to make sure everything is how it's supposed to be. Don't want to get too close. I don't want to get too close. But I am just so excited about this microphone. So first of all, I have to thank God who is the head of my life. And I just thank God that He has allowed me to have wonderful patrons, Patreon members, and patrons that can help me buy ring lights, microphones. Y'all support Unapologetic. Y'all support the web series. Some of y'all, well, not only did you buy the web series, um, from our website, or well, I should say, not only did you become Patreon members, but you also bought the web series from our website, jhancotv.com. We will start pushing that probably on next week a little bit more because, we'll start pushing that. But I just wanted to get that popping and started. If you have a comment or you come on, please let us know and come and leave a comment because I like to dialogue. Ooh. So you just must have popped on. Okay. Okay. Let's talk about it. I did not watch the debates last night, and I was talking to Deborah. Shout out to Deborah Elena Music. The reason why I did not watch the debates last night is because I don't think Biden should have been the Democratic nominee. And I'm just gonna put it that way. I feel like there are so many other people, or there were so many other people. I'm like, look at my. There were so many more people that was way more qualified for him to have been the person to win the nomination. And I feel like that because of that, I'm just a little leery of politics right now. I feel like they knew that a person of color or a woman, especially not a woman of color, would have won the nomination or could have procured the majority vote in America right now. And that's scary. I wasn't excited about the debates, not trying to be funny because I mean Biden isn't my first choice, but he's also not the worst choice if you compare him to Trump. And I am a Republican. I have voted Republican in the majority of elections. One time I didn't even vote for Obama. When I saw what a great job he did, that's when I voted. So, I mean, I know a lot of people coming on like, you're a Democrat, you're black. I'm a conservative first. He's not. Mm, no. Because at the end of the day, I am still a black woman. And I have to look out for the interests of people who look like me. So yeah, people come before politics for me. Now, if that's not your issue, and I feel like a lot of people who are for Trump, they live in very small communities where people think just like them. And if you just remove them for like 1 month and drop them in a diverse community, and they start seeing other stuff from what is being propagated to them on a daily basis, I feel like most people could not still vote for Trump or still be for Trump because I'm not saying a lot of educated people or Trump supporters, but I feel like how are you educated and where were you educated and was your education inclusive of other ethnicities, cultures, backgrounds, classes? So yeah. Um, and just some people just don't like people of color, especially black people. Black Lives Matter infuriates people. You really thought Trump was going to come into office and we was going to go back to Jim Crow or go back to slavery or go back to white men being on top. And it's really pissing you off that actually the opposite is happening. So, yeah, but see, here's the thing. We're not going back. We're not. And so stop thinking that. Stop thinking that, you're fighting for white men's liberties. You're not. We're not going back. So you could just either accept us being around forever or and seen as your equals, or you get left behind. Or when your children or your grandkids hear about this years from now, you'll be on the wrong side of history. But that's neither here nor there. Um, As many of you know, I am married to Trevor Noah. In my mind, I have to put that in there in my mind. And I was so delighted that he did like a little recap on his platform on YouTube. I'm saying on YouTube like we're not on YouTube right now, but yeah. And it was just so amazing to see that someone, because I just feel like Trevor Noah is like the most intelligent person in the history of life. Um, just to see someone that is not American and really has no dog in this fight. And I love that he's half white, half black, and he's from South Africa. And in his own words, they invented racism and segregation. And what was that? It's where it starts with the A, apartheid. Like they invented that. Like you can't compare American racism to South African racism. But what happened in South Africa? And I feel like people don't understand that you can't keep a dog, uh, I'm not gonna say a dog. I should say you can't keep a good dog down, or a good man down, or a good person down. But you can't keep thinking that you can just exclude a whole race of people because they're bad and you're good. That doesn't even make sense. And yet here we are. You don't want black people to invade your white spaces. Get over it. It's going to happen. More than likely, one of your white children have probably even had sex with a black person. You might be a black person's grandmom one day. And you don't want to look in your granddaughter's eyes or grandson's eyes and realize that you were on the wrong side of history. Oh, yes, let's talk about it, Rochelle. Neither candidate was like some people said Biden did better than Trump. He was constantly being interrupted, but he kind of lost me where when he allowed Trump to pull him out of his element. I mean, I don't really respect Trump that much at all, but he is the currently sitting president. Um, and he told the current sitting president of our country to shut up. So, that's a problem because I want my chief of staff, my president, the leader of my country, to be good under pressure. And I know Trump is an idiot. Yes, yes, I get it. I understand. I get it. I'm not a black mom, but one day I will be. I get it. Sometimes kids get on your nerves. But you have to have just a little bit more decorum. And I get it when you're constantly interrupted. We've all had bad days. So I'm a, chalk that up to, I'm not gonna say experience or inexperience, but he got in his feelings last night. He saw a child throwing a temper tantrum. And it's something about children throwing temper tantrums that just works your last nerve. So um I'm gonna give him this one. I may watch the next one just to see if it's better. I'm very interested in seeing what Kamala does with Senator Harris does because I hate when people just call us by our first name, but they call everybody else president or Mr. Or, they put a title on there. So I'm sorry for that. Senator Harris and what's Trump's vice president's name? Pence. I'm very interested in see what they do. We were just talking about it. We were just talking about it. So many people, I do want to hit on that. We were just talking about so many white racists are racist because racists come in other cultures and races as well, other than just you know, white. There are a lot of people of color who do not like black people, even though most movements are a spinoff of the civil rights movement of African Americans. And a lot of laws that were written that people used to further their agendas were originally based off of our struggles. It was a tweet last night that, and please, if you're watching this, please follow me on Twitter, DEZTINEE337, DZTINEE337, Destiny 337. I think that's it. Now, I'm wide open on Twitter, so be prepared for that. But follow me on there because I really love Twitter. Um, they were saying that, do you think other countries laugh at us, are laughing at us? I know they are. It was so funny because last night I was actually on the phone, not on the phone, on Instagram conversing with a young lady from Italy. She's a violinist and I met her through Patreon. Shout out to my Patreon members. And I wanted to ask her so bad. So what do y'all really think about America right now? I was saying on Twitter how so many people who wanted to immigrate to America right now, like, you know what, I'm good. I'm kind of good on that. Are we good? Because they see what's going on. And the 90 Day Fiance show, they literally had to change their platform to from 90 Day Fiance to 90 Day Fiance the other way, where people from America went and married people overseas because of this. So, because of what's going on in America. And I'm like, no other time in history. And I love this phrase, Obama lives rent free in Trump's head. It's like, what, I know it did something. And it was a book written. I'm going to have to find out the name of the book and I'm going to give it to you guys. But it was a book written right before Obama won his first presidency, presidency that said if Obama would win, we're going to see an incline of racism like we have never seen before. Because yes, you're equal. Yes, you can live by me. But being the number one, the HNIC, that hit a little differently. And people who didn't even know they were racist. I've heard so many stories. My former pastor, he was saying that the guy who kind of did murals in his church was a white guy. And he was like a son to him and everything was good. Obama won. The guy just totally changed up. It's so many people because a lot of white people do have black children, you know. So many white boys or white men, white men with brown children became Trump supporters because that's why I'm not gonna even talk about interracial dating right now. We don't get on that. But it's so important to I am gonna say this. It's so important to realize that just because somebody can sleep with you doesn't mean that you're equal. So many people are sleeping with little vibrators and dildos. They slept with their slaves and they still were slaves in the morning. So I'm just putting that out there. Just because somebody can sleep with you does not mean at all. And I feel like that's the problem. We have to listen to each other, even though we might not agree with each other. I can listen to a racist, I'm not going to ever agree. And I have to change my stance and my interactions with them because when it comes to racism and oppression and colorism and classism and sexism, I feel like, you know, that's just something I can't debate. I can't say, let's just agree to disagree because that's literally oppressing other people. However, I totally 100% agree that when it comes to people who are supposed to both represent the American people, Biden was vice president for 8 years. Trump is currently the president. A lot more professionalism and a lot more understanding. I would have loved to see, especially because there are two older gentlemen. Like these were not two young cats. These are old. These things about to die. And the lack of decorum that they showed last night, and the fact, like Rochelle said, nobody was listening, was a little appalling. Like, so you really not gonna listen to each other? Like Biden, you've been here before. Trump, you are currently here, and y'all can just talk over each other. It was like a measuring contest. Like nobody was trying to understand or engage. They was just trying to win. And Trump, I felt, kept interrupting Biden. So he couldn't even get his points. They said he kept interrupting him so much so that Biden just eventually turned to the camera and just started talking to us. Like, look, like I said, I didn't watch the debates, but I saw my husband gave me the recap, Trevor Noah. Shout out to him. And so, yeah, but what are your thoughts? Put them in the comment section. Let us know what are your thoughts on this upcoming election. Who are you voting for? Like I said, I am a Republican / conservative who just cannot vote for Trump. So you come in the comment section, call me a nigga, call me, say Trump 2020. It does nothing to me. Because if he was a different person, I would probably be screaming the same thing, but he's trash. So quick story time. I just want to shout out this dress. This dress, we was talking about my church earlier, or my former church. And this dress almost wrecked a marriage. I'm just gonna put it like that. It was a guy I had a crush on. He was real cute, but he was married. And I had to find a yellow dress. So we had to wear something yellow. And I had at the time nothing yellow in my closet that I wanted to wear. That was cute enough. So I went all over the city of Montgomery to look for something yellow. And I finally found this dress. And I was like, this is kind of cute. When I tell you, when I showed up for praise and worship, because we always rehearse or went over the songs right before the sermon, before the service. The musicians was looking like, and one guy, and then it was actually, we had a get together later that night, and I tell you, he made a beeline to me. I was like, yeah, this dress is dangerous. Hallelujah. But that's neither here nor there. I also want to talk about something that's just vexing me. Yes, I am changing subjects, and it's going to be a drastic change. Hold on. So this morning, like I said, I was on Twitter last night, conversing with the people, trying to build my followers up. And if you follow me, I'm going to follow you back. I'm not going to unfollow you when you follow me back. That's just, unless you just like the devil. But if I follow you, you follow me back, we friends forever. Until, like I said, either you do something real stupid or, you decide to end the friendship. So I get up on Twitter this morning, and I'm pressing follow because I'm engaging and trying to follow people with like minds, and they're saying, "Look, you have violated Twitter's policies. You've been following people that are not following and unfollowing at a rapid pace." First of all, no, I have not. Like, I don't even think I've follow 50 people. I unfollow a lot of people this morning because I give people several days, sometimes up to a week, to follow me back. And I'm like, oh, they ain't following me back. They ain't talking about so I just unfollow real quick. But I literally only follow people who I have had engagement with. Because like I say, I don't want to consider myself a troll, but I kind of am a little bit. That's what I said. I'm wide open on Twitter. That's the warning. More people who I think I have something in common with. Like, I'm a plus size woman, so I follow people who have interest in, body positivity or BBWs or melanin or plus size women, full flicker gals, Instagram models, because I'm one of those as well. I'm just kidding. But so I didn't understand. I'm like, But then they let me do follow certain people, but not like another category. And I feel like, this happened to me on Instagram. Like, that's why I stopped using my Jonah and Annette Instagram. Following me on Instagram, Jonah and Annette. It's a little better now. Knock on wood. I want to jinx anything, but like, not trying to be funny. Is it just because I'm black? That's what I really want to know. Is it because I'm black? Because that's literally what the white girls like. So many. That's how you get your followers up. And I feel like, my brother said that Joe Rogan, shout out to Joe, did a whole podcast the other day about Twitter suppressing people. And one of my Twitter followers, shout out to you, Derek. He's so cute. If you're watching the table, he's a technology son now. But he said that a lot of his followers have been suspended because of it. So I'm like, I don't really understand what's going on with Twitter right now. And I feel like some of these social media companies, I get it. I had a problem with the platform we're on now. We're not gonna say anything, but I feel like I understand when you see people platforms blowing up and they're having more engagement, they're having more followers than they ever had. Like, I literally went from like 4 something to almost 600 in a month. But that's because I was on there engaging. I was on there creating conversation. I went viral several times. So, and not the big virals, like still in the hundreds, but a lot of people retweeted me several times, stuff I was saying. So I'm like, why do they choose to shadow ban and say somebody has violated certain things on one end, but not the other. And they said like if you have more than 1,000 followers, then you get to do a little bit more. That's what they said this morning. And I'm like, so how do I get to 1,000 followers? Like I can see if I was just following a whole bunch of people when they follow back, I unfollow them all. I only unfollow people that follow me back. I mean, that don't follow me back. And I don't really even do that. Like it's some days I'm not even on Twitter, or if I'm on Twitter, I'm just like tweeting stuff and I'm getting right back off. And I told my brother, I was like, I feel like it's suppression. I feel like a little bit because you have to realize a lot of these people who are over these platforms, they're millionaires. So Trump is in their best interest. They can act like they're liberal or they're socialists or they're for the people, but they're for their pockets. How about that? And so I feel like a lot of these platforms are set up where you have to either pay for the algorithm to benefit you, or if they're set up that you have to be a certain to not be suppressed. And the reason why I say that is because, like, literally, when I was just on there engaging with people, tweeting, nobody liking anything, nobody responding back. Now, this is one thing about Twitter that is funny. I guess because I look like this, when I do tweet a celebrity, most times either I get retweeted or quoted or either responded to, and I thank God for that. That's favor. But for regular people, regular Joes, y'all, they just be out there ignoring me, and they be hurting my feelings. So, yeah. But I'm like, when I was up there just tweeting and engaging, people were ignoring me. It was all good. Now when people are actually engaging back, my followers are engaging back. I'm getting retweeted, I'm getting quote tweeted. Now all of a sudden it's a problem. Like what's and I know they're trying to limit their liability because a lot of people have issues with social media. And I think a lot of this happened at the Fire Festival because they was bringing on in social media influencers to promote that festival, and we all know what happened. But a lot of the people that they paid to promote, and first of all, they were paid to promote. The people that they paid to promote were already celebrities. That's why they became IG celebrities because they were already famous. So, I'm just like, this is my plea. I'm not bad mouthing about this, but this is my plea to all social media brands out there. Allow people to like organically grow and put in the algorithm. If you're seeing somebody following and unfollowing, make sure the people they're unfollowing have followed them. Like nobody wants to have a whole bunch of followers or be following a whole bunch of people and have people not following them back. So, especially they ain't talking about that anyway. It's like this is America, right? Well, I'm in America using Twitter. Give me the right to unfollow somebody. Because sometimes I'm just unfollowing people because they're not talking about something or they say something offensive. I'm like, oh, no. So we can't be friends. So I unfollow them. But give me that liberty. If I'm not, now I can see if I was doing hundreds and thousands a day, but I'm most times doing between 10 and 20, like I said, and not even every day. So I'm like, Twitter, you on that board, just like Instagram was. And I feel like just certain people who do it, just like on TikTok, when certain people do certain things, they blow up. And then the people who invented the dances or invented the movements or invented the craze, they get suppressed. So Rochelle says social media always has their people controlling what gets published, push to the top. But and see the scary thing about that is that most times the people that's in control, and if they're not this, they don't look like this. They don't have this. And so we have to be careful because like even on TikTok, like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, you see a lot of and other people that are not black still think of black people as lower than or ghetto or you're on welfare or you get food stamps. And I'm like, first of all, who in your circle do you know that's black? Because apparently I saw another comment on TikTok the other night that was like you act like black people don't own lake houses and go golfing, and a white person was like, but they don't. I can call 3 people right now to go to the beach and get their house that are black. Every black man I know golfs, and some black women. And I'm like, are we still this closed minded when it comes to people of color? We don't think that they we still think they, yo, what's up, man? You got my 40, dog. We don't do that. It's some people who still do that, and it's some white people who do that. That's like, do you know how many HBCUs are in this country? Do you know how many black universities are in this country that has given so many black, I'm trying to be careful with the words I use because I don't want to sound elitist, but it's a lot of well educated black people out there. And for you to think that the majority of black people, I remember I was at, well, let me finish my statement because I have a habit of doing that. And for you to think the majority of black people are still somewhere sipping on 40s, with their pants sagging and don't want to work, living off the government, which is a lie because most of the government assistance goes to white people. But that's either here or there. It's like a facade. Like that's just something that the media keeps telling you, not trying to be funny. Most of the black people that you're looking down, you'll walk out your house, your good white house, go down the street, and you will see a black person and look down on them like, why is he here? Why is she here? Go back to your side of town. Not knowing that she lives in the biggest house in your neighborhood. And but maybe that's the problem. Maybe that's what really burns your embers. Like maybe that's what's really bugging you. That she does. Like she can. The biggest demographic of educated people in America are black women. They have the highest level of education in America right now, period. And that's on everything. I like, the chicks who be a little hip. But it's on any platform that you can Google. They may say it begrudgingly and then say, but this is why, or but that doesn't mean. But if you Google it, it's there. So that's neither here nor there. And while we're talking about women, I got a couple of minutes left. I want to dispel the myth that there are more women than there are men in the world. Because that's a lie. That's what we call minorities. Google it. More men are born every year in this world than there are women. And I knew something was off because of what do you call it? When I worked at the hospital, I was a baby photographer for all the hospitals in Montgomery back in the day. Woo woo. And well, one of it was like 2 or 3 of us, and I was one of the people on call. Insert what they got in circulation, in rotation. That felt good, so I just kept doing it. But let me see what she said. And that's all we want. I saw, like I said, my former pastor on Twitter the other day. He was saying, we don't want your handouts. We just want the opportunity. Somebody, please go and watch Conversations with a Black Man or Conversations with Black People. It's a guy in Nigeria. He's actually, I think, in Austin, Texas. And yes, I am going to run interview. Let me get down about 10 more pounds. I'm going to go and see what he's talking about. But he always have these interesting conversations with white people. And one of the people he had a conversation with recently was Matthew McConaughey. And Matthew, he was just honest. He was like, during this last movement after the George Floyd death and everything like that, this is the first time I realized that he was like, because I grew up poor. I grew up having a struggle. I grew up, with black people, but I never realized our struggles were different. I never realized that most times they were struggling because they were black. And he said, and I just got that revelation. He said, I'm struggling because I'm poor and I can, do what I need to do to get forward. He was like, but it's like the people pulling me forward is, if they're not pushing them back, they're holding them back. And that's the difference. And sometimes, Matthew loves to be woke all the time. He says these deep poems that we're like, huh? But if a man who was raised around black people, who loved black people, who was used to black people, who supported black people, who has a heart for black people, just made a distinction. I don't want anybody to feel like I'm criticizing racists for feeling the way they do, But I am saying that we have to be real. We have to talk about it. We have to understand that there are systems in place to keep people of color, especially Black people, down. It's so many educated, like, not trying to be funny. I remember when I first started working for the state, before I went back and further my education, my college educated friends at the time were making more than me. I'm sorry. I was making more than them. They were borrowing money from me. And I literally had to pray when I was trying to get back in school. I was like, most of my college friends are making less than I am, and they're borrowing money from me. I did go to college. I went to Alabama State University, but I finished up online. And the reason why I had to drop out of college was my mom got sick. But I went to every college in Montgomery, Alabama. I went to Alabama State University. I also went to Alabama A&M. Shout out to Bulldog. So I'm very confident doing the Magic City Classic. Look that up. That's the largest classic in United. Well, HBCU. That's the largest classic. Um, well, HBCU. Is it classic or HBCU classic? Well, it's the largest, I say HBCU classic in America. And I did not know that. And I went to both schools. But a story about when I was at, he said, no, no, not every college in Montgomery. At the, what major college? It was only probably around, I went to Alabama State, Alabama A&M, which was actually in Huntsville. Then I went to Troy University. Then I went to oh, this sounds so bad. Faulkner University, which is a private college. That was a fun time. And y'all, this live has given all the life to me. I'm in love with it. And we're gonna definitely talk to y'all later. Woo! Woo! Did y'all see how ugly this man was? Nah, that wasn't sexy, baby. Some of it depends, but that wasn't sexy. He was ugly and he was white. Y'all have made my day today. Y'all just keep going. I love you guys. But the moral of the story, all I wanted to say was that we have to do better. We're going to talk about the next debate. And I love you guys. Good night.